Shabbat shalom. The day after Zohran Mamdani was elected, the mayor of New York City, the very next morning, somebody spray-painted a swastika on the side of a yeshiva, an Orthodox Jewish day school in Brooklyn. And the newly elected mayor tweeted right away, "This disgusting, heartbreaking act of anti-Semitism has no place in our beautiful city. As mayor, I will always stand steadfast with our Jewish neighbors to root out the scourge of anti-Semitism out of our city." That's, and a lot of people, and Jews especially, who were worried about Mamdani, they were very comforted by this statement. You see, they said, he's going to be a mayor for everyone. Your concerns are overblown. He has quibbles with Israel, sure, but he cares about Jews. But a swastika is kind of a softball pitch. What I mean is everyone knows swastikas are bad. Nazis are bad. It's obvious. And if you're an elected official, particularly in a Jewish city, a city as Jewish as New York City, there's 1 million Jews in the 5 boroughs alone. There's more Jews there than in any other metropolitan area in this country. And if you represent them and someone spray paints a swastika, you condemn it. It's the right thing to do, but it's also the easy thing to do. There's no real test there of just how much one is willing to protect their Jewish minority, because by and large, we all agree, swastikas are bad. And you're not going to catch any flack for saying that. You don't risk anything by saying that. No, a real test would be what happened this past Wednesday night in New York at Park East Synagogue, an Orthodox synagogue on the Upper East Side. They were hosting an informational event for Nefesh B'Nefesh, which is an organization that helps Jews from all over who want to make aliyah, who want to move to Israel. And, everyone was at this event. Everyone you would expect was there, the organizers, obviously, and the congregants who were interested in making aliyah and making the move. And, of course, the protesters. They were there, too, with their flags and their couture keffiyehs and their chants. Oh, they had all the chants. They had the boring ones. Let's be honest, the boring ones you hear all the time, all the time. Death, death to the IDF. Yes, we know. We know, we hear you. A deaf man could hear you. Some of their chants, I was listening, don't really make a lot of sense. We don't want no Zionists here. To be fair, they're trying to leave. I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense. Other chants were what one could, I think, fairly call incitement. Resistance, make us proud, take another settler out. From New York to Gaza, globalize the intifada. And this was not an event with Israeli speakers or IDF soldiers, no Israeli government officials. It was not held at a consulate. Theirs was not a protest against Israeli state policy. This was at a synagogue, at an informational event for Jews. And these protesters knew that. That's why they said what they said. They stated it very plainly, what it is they wanted. They shouted it into their megaphones. You can watch online. I listened, I watched. This leader get up in front of this crowd and say, "It is our duty to make them think twice before holding these events. We need to make them scared. We need to make them scared. We need to make them scared." This is anti-Zionist. It's also anti-Semitic. It is intimidation. It is incitement. This is beyond a swastika. spray painted on a building. And what did the mayor-elect say? Well, immediately, nothing. Nothing. Nada. When asked by Jewish news outlets for a statement, his press secretary delivered this bit of wordcraft. The mayor-elect has discouraged the language used at last night's protest and will continue to do so. Oh. So it's the words that are the problem, not the actions that they could prompt, not the actions that they were hoping to prompt. And whose language, or what was the language about or directed towards? No one specific was named. This could be about anybody. He believes every New Yorker should be free to enter a house of worship without intimidation. Again, where's the Jews? You wouldn't know we were there from this statement, even though this was the latest in a string of hate crimes directed against Jews, of which Jews are the number one recipients of in New York and nationally. But the last line, the mayor-elect stated, and these sacred spaces should not be used to promote activities in violation of international law. Oh, there it is. I got it. I got your number, Zohran. He's both sidesing it. Which international law? Which law? Like, which law specifically were the Jews breaking to provoke these mean words? Because that's what he was saying. Well, not him, of course. Mamdani said nothing, but his press secretary, when pressed by Jews, was forced to say. Now, I will admit, I am not an expert in international law, nor is my dog. Thank you. But there is no law that says that you cannot emigrate. You can't leave your country of origin and move to another. There's no law that says that. It's perfectly legal. So that can't be the issue unless, of course, your issue is a specific group, Jews, moving to a specific country, Israel. And that's where the equivocating begins. Both sides here do deserve some responsibility, and it's clear which side he wants you to think deserves the lion's share of responsibility here. Well, these people said mean words, and these people are breaking international law. I'll let you decide what he thinks should sound worse to the untrained ear. And it's not just Zohran Mamdani, of course. It's everyone who thinks like him. I'm not anti-Semitic, I'm just anti-Zionist. I have nothing against Jews. I just don't think they have the right to live in the land of their origin. I'm not anti-Semitic, though. It really is almost funny, because these are the same types who say, with a full chest, no human being is illegal on stolen land. There were signs some of these protesters had that said that. And if I'm being honest, I don't know if I disagree with that. I think that could be true. And if you think about it, if you know about it, the land of Israel has been stolen by one people after another after another. Mamdani and those who think like him either don't know this or they don't care. Because most recently, the land of Israel was stolen by the British, a little over 100 years ago, when them and the French decided to divide up the Middle East. Sure, why not? Because they beat the Ottomans in a war, so it was theirs now. They took it from them. The Ottomans, of course, who were there before, they're not native to Israel. They're Ottoman Turks. They're from Turkey. Turkey is not Israel. They held on to it for a long time, though, almost 400 years. So they came in, and they stole it from the Mamluks who were there before, who they beat in the war. You see the theme here? See that repeating theme? The Mamluks, they were there for a long time, too. The Mamluks are also not from Israel. When they got there, they stole the land of Israel from the Crusaders. I think we all know they're not locals. They stole the land of Israel about 1,000 years ago. They didn't hold on to it very long. A little bit shameful for the Crusaders. Bad job, guys, not impressive. When the Crusaders came to town, they stole the land from the Arabs. You could say those protesters, the Mamdanis. I'm not anti-Semitic, I'm just anti-Zionist. You see, Rabbi, the Crusaders stole the land from its rightful owners. Well, they stole it from the people who were occupying it at the time, but the Arabs were conquerors too. Arabic people are native to, wait for it, Arabia. Arabia, which is a whole other section of the world. It's not the same as the Levant, which is the area that Israel is, that strip of land, really. Arabic people historically are not native to our area of the world, to the Levant. They're not native to there or all those points east of there. Where now they're east-west, I don't know my directions, west of there, towards North Africa, where there are now large Arab majorities, Egypt and Tunisia and Libya, large Arab majorities. Those countries are in Africa. Africa, not Arabia. But they were very successful as Arabization of that whole piece of land, including the land of Israel in the 7th century. It resulted in the theft of the land from its previous occupants, who was in Israel before the Arabs got there, the Persians. Persians are not Arabs. Don't tell them they're Arabs. They will be mad at you. It wasn't all bad. It wasn't really bad for the Jews. I mean, they were okay to us. Life under them was a lot better than life under the people who had the land before the Persians, which was the Romans. We don't like that. It was bad for the Jews under the Romans. The Romans are the ones who changed the name of the land, because previous to them, it was known as Judea. A little on the nose. They were like, no, we're going to change the name. So the Romans changed the name to Syria Palestina. And they changed the name of the capital from Jerusalem, as it had always been known, to Aelia Capitolina. Because what better way to say you own something than to slap your name on it in your language? The Romans held it for a very long time, but before them, who was there? Do you think Mamdani and his pals know? I doubt it. Before the Romans, it was the Greeks. Alexander the Great. The Hanukkah story, that's real. It happened then. And before the Greeks, who did they steal the land from? Well, from the Persians, the first time around. Persians, still not native, though. Persians, still not native. They stole the land the first time around from the Babylonians, who, as the name should imply, were from Babylonia, which is Iraq-ish. And they took what was left of the land from when the Assyrians conquered it. And they were from Assyria. And before them, before 720 BCE, 2,700 years ago, who ruled Israel? Do you think Zohran knows? It was us. We did. No other ancient culture or ancient society that was around then is still around now. There are no Canaanites, there are no Philistines to lay claim to that land more originally than us. And I'm not saying no one else can live there. I'm not saying that. No one would tell you that. I'm saying you're wrong to say that we can't. To say that it is illegal for us to do so. We've been diasporized, we've been flung to the far corners of this earth. Our skin and our features have changed. It's been 2,000 years after all. But who we are and what we believe is the same, and knowing where we come from has never changed. And I think that drives these anti-Zionists, these anti-Semites, the Mamdanis and his ilk. I think it galls them. It drives them nuts. When the British landed in the Northeast, in this country, and they dug down, do you think they found Shakespeare? No, because they were colonizers. And when the Spanish landed in Florida and they dug down, do you think they found coins with, Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand's faces? No, because they were colonizers. When the French landed in the north, they dug down, do you think they found rosaries and other Catholic paraphernalia? No, because they were colonizers here. When you dig down, and you dig down really far, and I mean really far into the earth of the land of Israel, you will find tablets written in Hebrew, a language we still speak. You spent all morning hearing it. You will find coins with Jewish kings' faces stamped on them. You will find Jewish ritual items used in temple worship, because that is the land that our temple stood on 3,000 years ago. And we've never forgotten it. And yes, after moving thousands of years in exile, moving from place to place to place, just like our land was stolen over and over, we have been forced to start over and over, which has resulted in Jews becoming, I think, a gorgeous tapestry of humanity. We don't all look like me, little Miss 99% Ashkenazi. Though Ashkenazi, the beautiful heritage, we are everything. We are Ethiopian Jews and Yemenite Jews. We are Cochin Jews from India and Kaifeng Jews from China. We are Berber and Maghrebi Jews from Morocco, and we are so much more. And no matter how differently we have developed and the way we look and the languages we speak, who we are, what we value, how we live has never changed. And knowing where we come from has never changed, and that makes the anti-Semites nuts. That through it all, throughout everything in history, everything history has thrown at us, from the chants and the protests to their logical endpoint. Despite all of them, all the Mamdanis of the world and the violent anti-Semites they equivocate for. Despite them, we have not just persisted, we have flourished. We grow everywhere we are planted, always remembering where we come from. And there is nothing that Zohran Mamdani says or doesn't say that can change that and take it away from us.